Anthony Albanese has spoken at UK Labor's party conference in Liverpool. The Prime Minister addressed the importance of the role his government plays and the friendship between Australia and the UK. Andrew Clennell was there.
Anthony Albanese came to Liverpool to take part in what must have been a dream for him, addressing a British Labor conference. But he also came, it seems, to assist someone he calls a mate, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who is struggling from electoral pressure being delivered by Nigel Farage's Reform Party. Anthony Albanese's speech contains references to democracy being under threat, but also criticises negativity in politics. So the Australian Prime Minister no doubt is talking about authoritarian regimes like Russia, but also campaigns, the sort that Nigel Farage has waged. But will this be a message received well by the man Anthony Albanese is soon to meet in the White House, Donald Trump, who himself rose to power off the back of appealing from the right to the working class?
An absolute privilege to introduce a friend of mine, a real inspiration to those of us on the left. Albo came armed with cans of Albo beer. I kid you not.
What I see here in UK Labor, under this man, this leader, this Prime Minister, my friend, is the same determination that I know lives in every member of the Australian Labor Party. An absolute resolve to stand together and defend democracy itself. We all sense this is an era where our capacity for peaceful disagreement is being tested. Tearing things down is easy, but it doesn't leave you with anything. The low politics of fear and resentment are easy, but they only divide the country. They don't advance it.
The PM told Sky News on Sunday Agenda he did not fear the meeting that he will have with Donald Trump on October 20 at the White House. Do you hold any fears in terms of this meeting?
No, not at all. The discussions we've had have been very positive and constructive, and Australia and the United States are great friends. We pull our weight, and it's not a relationship of unequals.
He also denied that his long overseas trip and travel to political conferences might be a negative with Australian taxpayers. Can you understand if some Australians view the amount of travel you've ended up doing this year as excessive, or what do you make of those comments she's made about them being basically political events?
Well, I think that says more. She can explain her own position, but what I do is work very hard representing Australia. You've been with me, Andrew. Do you think we've been sitting around during this time? And, I've had journalists who tell me how tired they are. Well, just try to keep up.
It's now off to the United Arab Emirates for a meeting with that country's leader ahead of returning home 11 days after leaving Australia.
Let's go live to a regular on this program, former Labor Cabinet Minister, former Defence Minister Joel Fitzgibbon. Joel, great to see you as always. The Prime Minister addressing the UK Labor conference in Liverpool, was that a good call, or is it a bit of a risky one, given he previously bagged Scott Morrison for attending a Trump rally in the United States?
G'day, Kieran. Well, I thought what was intriguing about Scott Morrison's visit was that he was there celebrating an investment in a production plant in the United States. I don't think we should be concerned that our Prime Minister has been invited by the Prime Minister of a key friend, a key partner, and a member of the leader of a country which is part of the permanent five within the Security Council. Look, I think that's a good thing. I took the opportunity to read the full speech. It was a speech about relationships, about hopes, ideals, security, equality, but of course the challenges we face in this turbulent 21st century. So it wasn't political in that sense. And I thought it sent a strong message to the world, not just the people of the United Kingdom.
At the same time as he meets with Keir Starmer again and clearly has a very warm relationship there, some progress over the last week, Joel, on the US side, on the other side of the Atlantic, with a formal bilateral meeting locked in next month at the White House.
Yeah, that's good news, Kieran, long anticipated. And I think you could argue very strongly that the Prime Minister's trip both to the United States and the United Nations and, of course, the United Kingdom have been good for him and good for Australia's standing. I mean, our Prime Minister goes to the White House in, 3 weeks' time, maybe, with a few things in hand. He goes there as as arguably the best and longest standing partner of the United States. He goes there as a key partner in the AUKUS arrangement, an arrangement almost as important to the United States as it is to Australia, and an arrangement in which Australia is investing very heavily. Best example, of course, is our investment in the United States submarine industrial base. He goes with a potential offer to help the United States with its challenges on the critical minerals front, something that's very important to them both in military terms and in commercial terms. And I think now he also goes there after those visits to New York and to the United Kingdom in a position of strength. He's strutted the world stage. He stated clearly his values and his positions. Sure, there are some disagreements around Palestine and arguably tariffs and, of course, climate change. But overwhelmingly, we share our ideals and objectives. So he does go there, I think, having had a good couple of weeks overseas, and therefore he goes there in a position of strength and confidence. And there's one thing you can be sure about with respect to the President of the United States: he does respect strength.
And he likes winners as well. And of course, the Prime Minister had a big win recently. He's due to arrive in the UAE shortly, Joel Fitzgibbon, as he's making his way home. It is summit season. A lot of commitments on his schedule. And you've said clearly this was a success. This long US-British visit. Do most Australians recognise that this is par for the course? It's just part of the job?
Well, they should, Kieran. I think the only thing worse than the Prime Minister being away a lot, and this applies to all Australian Prime Ministers, is for them not to be away and not to be invited and not to be engaging. And, of course, the visit to the United Arab Emirates, indeed the Middle East generally, is of critical importance. The UAE and Saudi Arabia are where all the action is emerging. And it's very important that we continue to build on our relationships there, because it's critically important that we take the opportunities to further facilitate and promote trade and investment with those key countries amongst the Gulf countries. So it's important. ASEAN's important. That will be next. Washington, D.C. is important. So to those who say that he's away too much, the question becomes, which event shouldn't he attend? Which relationship shouldn't he further be building upon?
Joel Fitzgibbon, great to chat. We'll catch you later in the week. Thank you.
Thanks, Kieran.